Hi there, and thanks for coming to the SBP podcast, the voice of mobile film. I'm your host, Susie Botello, and this is episode 14. Hello, and welcome to the SBP podcast. This episode is about creating music videos with your smartphone, and we'll be discussing it with one of the filmmakers from our film festival in 2017 who came to San Diego to present his film, Beat the City. His name is Claudinho Andres Gomez, and he's talking to us from his home in Santiago, Chile. The International Mobile Film Festival is finalizing its selections for mobile submissions for 2018. That means that almost everyone who was selected has received a notice. If you have not received an email and you submitted your film, then make sure that you send us an email. But first, check your junk mail folder. Okay, I know 2018 seems like it's been with us for a long time already, but it's still just a baby. If you disagree and you're already exhausted, then check this out. You may have heard about the health benefits of Reiki. If you are in San Diego, get more information from our friends at Healing Touch Reiki by calling them at 619-518-6191. You can also check them out on Facebook at, I'm going to spell this out for you, Helland Reiki, HELLANDREIKI. In case you don't know it yet, we have a Patreon page set up with awesome benefits and perks for our patron subscribers. One of them, you may have noticed, if you've been listening to our podcast, is a bonus episode which is exclusive to our patrons. Each one of those bonus episodes goes in depth and gives our patrons super cool insights, tips, and even some are basically like a lesson about a specific topic. You will learn something beneficial to you in each one of these bonus podcasts. They're each from one of our guests, so don't miss them. Become a patron and support our podcast, our film festival, and all the other programs that we've created for mobile smartphone filmmakers globally. You can check out our Patreon page by going to www.patreon.com/SBP podcast. We'll see you there. Okay, at the end of this podcast, don't forget now, go to our Patreon page to access the bonus episode because it's going to be really interesting. We've actually asked our guest, Claudinho Andres Gomez, to share a really in-depth discussion with you. It's basically going to give you a lot of information so you too can do this. It's about the science of music and films shot with smartphones. Okay, no more teasing. Let's start with our guest right now. Hey everybody, we're here with Claudinho Andres Gomez in Santiago, Chile, and we're going to talk to him. How are you doing, Claudinho?
Hi, Susie. Thank you for this opportunity to have a good conversation here. Hello, everyone that is hearing this podcast. Okay, my name is Claudio. I live in Chile. Susie has already said something about that. And, well, I'm in this special time, vampire time, as you told me today earlier.
Yeah.
And I hope that we are going to have a good time here.
Oh yeah, definitely. One of the reasons I know that, unfortunately, we'll just let our listeners know that we are aware that the connection is a little poor on over there where you are in Chile right now, but it's still gotta love the technology because we can still make out what you're saying and share it with people all over the world. So I appreciate you doing this. And the other thing I want to share with everyone is Claudinho actually attended our film festival here in San Diego last year. And I'd actually love to open up with that, Claudinho. Why don't you talk a little bit about your experience here?
Okay, it was very a very good experience because it was my first film festival that I attended in the United States, and in fact, in everywhere, with a short film that I was participating with. And I confess that I I went to the United States for the first time to New York, and going to California for me was a very different thing. And I was a little scared because I didn't know anybody there. I had no friends. But I can say that after the festival, after the Smartphone Film Festival, I had new friends. Um, I am still talking after this festival with two or three of them, and it was very good. And it was very good too because I met you,
Thank you.
and I don't know if it's the right moment to say that.
No, yeah, of
I don't know
course.
if this is the moment to say that, but okay. Look, there are a lot of it. I think that everybody in this field of art, that is the short film, everybody is aware about the existence of many festivals that are made just for making money. But this is a very different festival because I realize you, Susie, you have a real conviction of what you are doing. You are really interested in what you are teaching and the message you have to share with others. This is a thing very important, and I think that is one of the reasons because filmmakers should attend your festival, should participate in your festival, should send works to show or to have or try to have an opportunity to be screened in your festivals, because you have a message, you have a vision that you want to share with people, and we quickly know you are the true person. You haven't made this festival to take advantage of people. You have because you want to share something that you think that is good for people. You are trying to give an opportunity to people to express themselves and teaching, if I could say this, okay?
Yeah.
Kind of hope about what is possible to do. Because nowadays, we know that we have many resources that we couldn't have in the past to make films. And the smartphone thing is something very important in this process because, like I said when I was talking in the Q&As in the festival last year, in April last year, it's an uncommon time for everybody to make a film, to everybody to express something through a work meeting on a smartphone, not waiting until the day they could have expensive years and something like that. But I think that you have a philosophy, you have a way of thinking about life and your work, and you are sincere to make this work, and you have a conviction, and you live this conviction, and that's why I think that is important to know your work in the Smartphone Film Festival, because of this honesty.
Well,
that's
wow. I was
my
not
impression about that.
Yeah, well, I wasn't expecting that. Thank you very much. It's passion for me, and it's always felt like the gift that I get to give the world. I think all of us who really, I don't know, who embrace life want to give something to others, and I love connecting with people, and I think storytelling is so important, for everyone and humankind. So this is it's a great opportunity. You were talking about staying connected with a few of the filmmakers and the people that you met there at our film festival, and I have a feeling I know who those people are as well. Because they shared the same stories with me, that they enjoyed the film festival, but they really enjoyed coming and attending because of the opportunities they had to meet others like you as well there. Yeah.
Because it was there's the spirit, there's some kind of spirit in this festival that we like. That's why you have these reactions of some people like Brian or me, for example. If I had the opportunity, I probably could go again.
Right.
I don't have another smartphone film yet, but
Yeah,
if I
no.
had on another, so I'm certainly gonna send to you. Okay.
Well, yeah, and if you wanted to come, even if you don't have a film, just to kind of, that's fine too, of course. I wanted you to talk a little bit, because this is not about me, this is about you. But I wanted you to talk a little bit
Yes.
about you, actually. I mean, literally, where you got inspired, I should say, to go into filmmaking, and where you, I mean, where not so much where you come from, like you don't have to tell me your entire life story, but anything that you want to share
Okay.
with us, with our listeners, about who you are and what brought you into making this film, because your film is a musical experimental film, short film, and we'll go more into that in a little bit, but go ahead and share you.
Okay. Okay. I promise that I'm not gonna tell you about my entire life, just from my 7 years old.
No, that's fine.
Well, I think that I developed certain skills, artistic skills from my childhood, but I began in the music. When I was a boy, a little boy, a very little boy, 4, 5, 6, I used to draw just that, but I became famous in my school because of this.
Wow.
But when I was 15, I began to explore the music, and I learned to play some instruments like flute, piano, uh, guitar, it's that kind of things. But I come from a family of artists. My grandmother, by the side of my mom, she was an actress in Chile films. She acted in several spots. That spots you could watch in cinemas,
Hmm.
And she played the piano from her childhood too. After that, my dad was an actor. He's an actor. He's 82 years old now, but he's an actor. He still plays some things. He directs some things too. And my brother was a writer, you know. So I had some artistic influences that I cannot deny,
Yeah, it's in
But
it's in the genes.
yes, yes, in my genes. And after that, I lived in Brazil for 14 years. That's why my name Claudinho, okay, because it's Claudio, but everybody called me Claudinho, like in Brazilian Portuguese. It's Claudinho just because my 14 years living in Brazil. But in Brazil, I made different things, including a degree in theology, But I made music too there. But it wasn't until I came back to Chile that I started to feel some interest in films, And the first thing that I did was to study by myself with things that I found on the internet about direction. But someday when I was at my desk working in my company, I received an email from film school, and I had interest at that time to make a little degree in film critics. It was my first course. I just made short-term courses in film school. I made film critics, a little degree, a short degree in film critics. After that, I made I like a semester, something like that. I don't know, a quarter of a year in documentary film. But for that, at that time, I married my wife, and she got pregnant. So I decided to stop for a while. And after, I believe that 1 year, 1.5, I decided to take a cyber shot and began to make little capsules, something like not short film, but micro films. And at that time, I wanted to become a YouTuber or something like that. But I don't want to be a YouTuber, no anymore. I no longer want to be that. But I began that, and I realized that making videos with a cyber shot, it was not the kind of thing that I would like to do because of the quality and something like that. And a friend of mine that I made in the film school told me about that revolution of 7D and 5D Mark II, and I began to investigate the thing, and ultimately I ended up buying a 7D, and I made some things.
Is that in 2011 or something like that?
2009. No,
Okay.
2008. 2008, I began to study.
Yeah.
After that, I went to film school. And in 2010, I went to documentary film when I stopped because of the pregnancy of my wife. And after that, I think that in 20, yes, you are right. You are right. I told I told all this
To get
to
to
realize
the
that you were right. You were right. In 2011, I started to make these short videos. It was a kind of religious work called express meditation.
Yeah.
It was a spiritual meditation of 1 minute. So I uploaded from time to time. Okay.
Well, that's when around 2011 is when I remember the 7D and the SLRs, the DSLRs were really handling, video very well, and
Yes,
it started a little bit of a revolution in the independent filmmaking industry. That's why I said that. I'm
and
not psychic.
well, it was good at this time.
Yeah.
Because prior to this revolution, between brackets,
Yeah.
prior to this revolution, we had the idea that it was almost impossible to make films because of the lack of opportunities and budget.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was good. It was my first experience. I remember that I made my own studio, but it was a very, very handmade, everything, lights and whatever you imagine.
Good for you.
Yes, I bought that Muslim green screen made of that Muslim thing.
Yeah.
So I made myself, and quickly some friend of mine from the time when I was at the college studying music, because I went to the university to study music education from some music were musicians. That some of my friends, my musicians friends, they told me, you have to capitalize this guy. You have to get your money back, the money you invested in all this. So they convinced me to make music videos. So I started to make music videos. I jumped from religious videos from 1 minute to music videos. So I began to make some music videos for several artists that are well known here in Chile. So it was a second step, but I wanted in my let's say that deep in my heart I wanted to do other things.
Right.
I wanted to give a step forward, further. So I decided to make I applied to New York Film Academy. I don't know if I can say that. Film school. Let's go.
That's fine. I mean, this is it's not like we're not. Don't worry. Whatever you want to say is fine.
Okay.
Because now I think you're going to get into this is the really. It's not that anything else is not interesting. It's all interesting. But now we're going to get into how it came about that the film that you were going to make in the university, right, or the academy, ended up being shot with a phone, right?
Yes. Well, something that I forgot to say is that prior to this studies in New York,
Yeah.
I became the filmmaker of an NGO, a Brazilian NGO. So sometimes, from time to time, I go to several countries in the world, in Asia, or in the Middle East, or in South America,
Yeah.
to make humanitarian works. So I made a documentary before going to New York Film Academy. I made a documentary about the humanitarian work in the Philippines after the Super Typhoon Haiyan, and I made from this time up to this day, I have made 6 trips to several countries: Lebanon, Philippines, Jordan in English, Jordan, Ecuador 2 times, and several other countries. Okay, but I went to NIFA, and we had in this short-term course in filmmaking, we have just we could make films with no dialogues, because they say, and they teach this, and I believe that in every film school, that films are visual. Okay, so the most important is to tell the story through the images. So if they told us, try to watch your favorite films with no sound. If you are able to understand the plot, then this is a good film, they told us. So all the works, little short films that we had to make in this course, we had to make them with no sound. But the last work for graduation, we could use a music track. So they called music video.
Yeah.
Not a music video properly, I think, but it was a term that they used to call the final work. So we could use a music track, and it could be more than 3 or 4 minutes long, and we could use more than 10 cuts. That was the rules of this final work. I think that I made more than 10 cuts, obviously, but this was
And you're
the
not saying,
difference.
at first I thought you said 10 cats, but you're
Yes,
saying cuts, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
cuts. Okay,
No,
it's
that's
10
okay.
cats. No, 10 cats
That's
is 10 animals.
right. I was like, okay.
Cuts.
It's a Halloween
Yes,
movie.
cuts. Yes, I'm still learning to
Oh
speak
no,
English.
it's okay. I just wanted to make sure for our listeners that they didn't, sometimes they'll hear the same thing I'm hearing, right?
So 10 cuts.
Right?
This is better.
Yes.
Cuts. Okay. 10 more than 10 shots. Okay.
No, it cuts is good. I mean, it's because
Eh,
or I mean, what you're
But I
talking
remember.
about, cuts are like in editing and
Yes.
shots are
Yes.
when you're
But
recording.
I remember that they told us 10 shots, but it was the thing of the cuts.
Right.
And well, in fact, they made more than 12, I think, if I'm not wrong. But the thing is that I took my own gear to the school because I was afraid of the time, the skill, the time of the other guys that had to work with us, and my crew. Everybody had to do their own video, so it was very hard to imagine everything working together to to get a good result. So after the second work, I decided to shoot by myself, act myself in the short film, and I didn't call my crew, obviously, because I wanted to
No,
to get control,
I'm
total
laughing
control of.
because yeah, because most of the the filmmakers talk about how important it is to have a crew and a team, and you're saying the complete opposite. I decided to just
Yes.
do the whole thing by
In
myself.
fact, one of the lessons of the film school at that time was the importance of working in a crew.
Right. Right.
They might, uh, the teacher, uh, one of our teachers, the same guy that is in India now,
Yeah.
he told us, if you direct, don't shoot. Uh, and the opposite,
Right.
it's valid too. So if you are on the camera, don't direct. So I decided to go against the rules, and but for being more experimental thing, because they told us that this final work could be experimental among other genres.
Yeah.
So I decided to make experimental, kind of, it's not completely experimental.
Right.
But because I told myself, oh, this is gonna save my life, because I had no much time to make this. Some days, a week, probably just a week to make everything.
Yeah.
So I decided to make by myself alone, and I took to New York Film Academy a 5D Mark III and a Black Magic Pocket cinema camera, and I used it. But in the final work, I decided not to use this here, and I took my iPhone, because it's a freedom and a liberty. I go to the subway, I go to the street. Nobody's gonna kick me out.
Right. Now,
Nobody's gonna
was it
ask for me.
you were listening to a song, right? And was that because I don't know, my understanding was that you were listening to a song and you were watching your surroundings.
Yes,
And
but my decision about to make this short film, this final work with a smartphone,
yeah.
came prior to this music track, because I I wanted to make something I could control. So I decided. Well, I thought that I told myself, maybe the guys are gonna say that to me, that I had to make again, because they don't accept that, but I'm gonna take the risk.
Cool.
So I took the risk. That's why I waited until the final day to show this work. I didn't show a rough cut.
Uh-huh.
Everybody had to show a rough cut. I didn't show a rough cut. I came to the school with my final work finished, picture locked.
Mm.
So they couldn't say anything to me. But okay, I used to, when I have to work with the music, I used to listen to several music tracks, entire libraries. I remember that when I was in New York Film Academy, someday in the editing class, I installed the library, the music library of the guys, because I was in the computer. It was royalty free,
Huh.
but nobody told me that I could take home
Right.
this library. So I put my flash drive there, and I made a copy for me. So I went with all these music tracks to my room in Pace University, in the student residence, and I began to check everything. But nothing was good for me. I was not feeling anything about this. Even there is very very good music tracks in this library. So I decided to went to a site when you have to buy music tracks with licenses.
Right.
And I bought. I think that I bought one music track, and I bought a license that with this license I could use this music track in a work for a film school or something like that. So, or sending to a festival,
Right.
sending a film to a festival with the music track. I could do this. So I bought that license, and I began to listen all day long, all day long, hundreds of times, I think. And I began to imagine things because this is one of my um, experiences that I had from my childhood. I can imagine things easily with music. It's something that, for me, it's something that I was thinking about that yesterday. For me, music is more than an artist's expression. It's a middle of transporting, you know, because I not only enjoy the music, I take a trip with it, you know, and literally I go out of this world when I was listening something that I like this. When I told you about the greatest showman, this music is the same thing.
Yeah.
When I like a music track, I became an addict, so I like this music, and it was not. In fact, the music track I used in the short film, it has no music in that sense of the term, because it's only percussion,
Yeah. And
only drums.
there's no vocals or anything.
Yes, name vocals or instruments, just drums.
Yeah, rhythms.
Yes. So I imagine a guy trapped inside her home or her room, something like that. And the first idea that came to my mind was agoraphobia. Guy that is trapped there, afraid to go outside. So I went to the streets near the financial district there, very close to the World Trade Center in the memorial, and I began to make images, random images at the first sight. But quickly I imagined on a story. I'm gonna make a story that talks about a guy that suffered a loss in Twin Towers. So I made this story in a non-linear, non-narrative way, non-traditional narrative way, kind of experimental, mixed, of this. And the the second part was that scenes that I recorded inside my room, acting myself. So using on a smartphone, and I was not a guy that knew anything about smartphone filmmaking before this experience, so I had to create some gear to use the smartphone. So I have a French press because I like to make coffee in French press, and I bought a French press here in Chile, and I took to the United States in this trip. In the box of that French press, I used it like a fluid head. I make a cut over one of the sides, and I positioned the smartphone there to tilt and to put in some heights, for example, over
Almost
my
like
bed.
like a tripod, basically.
Yes, like a tripod, like that fluid head of the tripod.
Yeah.
And when I had to when I had to take an image from the floor, obviously I put the box on the floor with the iPhone, and I rehearsed very much, and I took the time to make this some image that I needed to make the story. Maybe I could take 10 times. If it was not good, I made again and again and again,
Right.
until I had my results that I was looking for. So after that, when I had all this footage, I organized all this. I began to make a quick edition, and after that primary edition, I made a color correction in this. That was one of the most interesting parts, because I never made the color correction before in something made within a smartphone. Interestingly, I forgot that this smartphone made 4K footage, so
Oh,
I made in 1080. I think that the result could be better if I
what
could.
phone was that? Was that an iPhone 6?
iPhone 6 Plus.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, iPhone 6 Plus makes 4K footage, but obviously uh, you quickly have all the storage full because of the size of the files, you know.
Right.
But when you work in a controlled environment, as I was working, it's not a problem because if you run out of space in the iPhone, you can stop. You can put everything in the computer and start again.
Yeah.
But okay, I forgot that part. I forgot that part. Shame on me. Next time I made a smartphone film, I'm gonna use all the capabilities of the device, you know, to
Yeah.
make better results, to get better results. So I in 4 days, I believe that I make I shoot in 4 days everything and 2 days of editing all day long. You know,
Yeah.
it was under pressure because uh, graduation would take place in 2 or 3 days after that. So the day of the rough cut, I didn't want to show my smartphone film, but the teacher insisted. So I said, oh, okay, I have mine here, but it's not a rough cut. It's my final work, and I showed the guys, but it was one day prior to the graduation, so there won't there wouldn't be problems about having to make again or
Another one,
something like that.
right?
But for my surprise, everybody loved it.
Yeah.
You know, the teacher, he liked it very much. He told me I respect your choice because it's an artistic one.
Yeah.
Uh, and the guy told everybody about the filmmaking thing and that film of Star Wars for I don't know what the name of this festival where Tangerine
Sundance.
one of us Sundance
Yeah.
some Sundance
Yeah.
I think that's that film called Tangerine or something like that. Many of my partners, my classmates, they didn't know anything about this. I I knew about that film, but I never remembered about that film when I decided to make a short film and then a smartphone film. It was something like I wanted to have the control and I have to save time, and I wanted to have this freedom of going to places that is hard to enter with a tripod and a camera
Right.
that calls much the attention of everybody. Yeah, I remember that someday we were at Battery City. And we didn't know that we were in Battery City because it was, oh, I think that 5 meters of walking through down the street, and we were in Battery City, and came a cop to talk with us and kicked us out because we were shooting in a place that was forbidden. So this kind of
Oh.
thing it don't happen, doesn't happen. This kind of thing doesn't happen when you use a smartphone. You know, you make phones in almost everywhere,
Yeah.
almost everywhere. And if we are clever enough to make, maybe we could make great things with this.
Yeah.
So that was my criteria to use on a smartphone at that time. I never remembered about that Tangerine. Okay. The thing is that one of my partners, my classmates, stood up, shook my hand, and said, "This is the best short film of the entire class." So I became motivated because of the words of my teacher, the words of my classmates. everybody liked this.
You were
I
expecting
think
to get criticized and, like
yes,
told,
because I think that everybody, not me, everybody but me like this short film. I think that this is something that happens with filmmakers, you know.
Yes, that happens with all. It's an artistic thing because you actually, I was just talking to somebody else about that in our last episode because in a way we are perfectionists. We never see an end to the project or the work until somebody forces us to stop, you know. Uh,
I
it's
think
the same thing with music, right? If you're playing a drum or something like that, you don't want to stop, right? Until the song ends and they say, okay, you got to stop now. You got to put an end to this.
yes, I think that I like my work while I'm making it, but after that,
Yeah, the
when it's
process.
finished, I think that I enjoy the process. But after that, I try to forget quickly
Yeah.
and think and try to imagine something more to do
Yeah.
ahead. Yeah,
And
but
that's
okay.
the artist. That's the artist. We were like, it's so funny because I know you didn't listen to the last episode, but that's one of the points I made. The difference between the artist and the business person making a video. We weren't talking about artistic films, but just the attitude that with perfection, right? Even with something where the artist loves the process. So you're a true artist, true artiste.
uh, I think so.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes I try to deny this my nature, but this is my nature. I was talking about this with my wife 2 days ago. I cannot hide. Unfortunately, I cannot. I tried, but it's not possible. I think that is something that is in our heart.
Yeah.
It's a way of life. It's a way of life. You vibrate with the art you love, and it's impossible to keep quiet with this.
Yeah, no, definitely. The other thing about your film that I really liked was the colors. It was very the quality of the film
Yes.
itself was very good and
Uh, Look, I let me tell you about an experience before going to the Smartphone Film Festival.
yeah.
I went to Canada because there was a date for a festival very close to the date of your festival, you know,
Yeah.
and I decided to go there. So my flight took me to Los Angeles, and that the same day I flight to Vancouver, and I spent 5 days there. And I had the opportunity. They had a DCP, you know, a DCP. They made a DCP of my film, of my short film. So I had the rare to see my short film projected in a in a very very beautiful and good theater projected in DCP. You know, this digital projection. It was the first time I saw. I'm thinking serious, you know. The first time I saw this smartphone film that I always watched in just in a TV or in my computer. In this big screen to try to let me see what I can say. It's try to make a critic, my own critics of my work. And the thing that I liked was the color because I graded this film in a little MacBook, you know, when the window of the preview is so small that you are not sure about what you are doing. And it was something by faith, in part by faith. But when I watched this, I thought, oh, thanks God, you saved my life. It was very good. It was really good. And it was a festival. I don't remember now what festival was. I didn't win anything there, but the guys that selected me for this screen, they told me about the interesting color treatment, you know.
Yeah.
And it's because I like this work of colorist. I'm not a colorist for by job. I am not a job as a colorist, but I studied a lot about that. In fact, today DHL brought me a control panel for DaVinci Resolve. That is a software that I use to color correct sometimes.
Mm.
And it's very interesting because I like this. I like this, and I think that it's one of my strengths. I think that is one of my strengths. But again, as I forgot to record in 4K, it would be better. Even the color correcting,
Yeah.
it would be better if I had the chance to remember that thing and to make a better footage, to shoot a better footage to make this.
Well, you remember, I don't know if you remember or not, but one of our sponsors for a film festival last year, they're sponsoring it again this year, is Film Convert. And yeah,
Yes.
and it's about colorizing, and they have smartphone, iPhone profiles in their software. So if any of our listeners want to try it out, you can try it out for free. You know,
Yes.
it's Film Convert. Just
Yes,
so,
I know this.
yeah.
I know this software because I think that 3 years ago, I downloaded the trial version of this program. But I think that they have developed this tool now. It's very very good
Yeah.
and better than in the first year of their release.
Oh
Huh?
yeah, they have to improve. They're constantly updating and making it better, like cameras, right? Like the cameras on the phones and the apps and everything. Did you use
I had
any
seen.
apps to shoot with, or you didn't use any apps, did you?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. It's just amazing how the output of your film was just so beautiful. And of course, I know that your instructor was telling you sound doesn't matter, but it's a big part of your film is the sound. And I think part of that effect psychologically is the music and the way that you put everything together with the music.
Yes, yes. When I came back to Chile, many told me about that the thing of the music and the images with the music. I sent to my wife because every work I did in NIFA, I sent to my wife to for her to take a look. And my goal, I want to make a confession here. Nobody knows that, but my goal, psychological goal with this short film was that when people uh, watch this film, they could feel that depression of the guy, feel bad. I told my teacher that was the only one person that I told us. I decided to keep the grain, the the noise, because I wanted this look to make people feel that. And I think that it was something I could I could achieve this goal because everybody here, at least in Chile, they told me that they felt very bad when they saw this guy trapped there in the room and fighting and at the age of the madness, something like that. But I thought a lot, really a lot, to make the editing of this video. What images I could put in what part of the music, what part of the music could tell something or some state of mind of the character at that point. In all this work that I had to make under pressure of having to deliver this in 4 days, But I think that if you say, as other people have told me about these impressions they have of the film, if you tell me this, like you are talking to me now, I think that I achieved the goal, and I thanks for this. This all these opinions because it was the thing that when we have a film or a music track or both, we want them to feel something, not just watch something,
Right.
but feel something, to cause some emotions, to provoke something in people, in their hearts. This is the goal for me,
Yeah, and
to make films.
that's one of the things that we're going to talk about in a little bit on the bonus episode of Patreon, where we're going to
Yeah.
talk about we're gonna allow you to actually instruct people on how to achieve that um, for the bonus episode. And
Yes.
I wanted to. I have a game, unless
Oh.
if you don't mind.
Yeah.
um, so I have a game.
What's the name of the game?
The name of the game is the shout out game.
Oh.
This game, basically, I'm going to give you, we've been talking about music, right? So, with this theme in mind, I'm going to give you 20 seconds. And I know that you realize, because you're a filmmaker and, you hear songs. By the way, I do want to bring up something that your film is 3 minutes and it was under 4 minutes, which is
Yes.
an ideal time for
3 minutes and 42 seconds.
there you go. Of course, you have it
Yeah.
memorized. But I just remember it was under 4 minutes, because that's the usual time I tell somebody, if you're going to have a song, if your film is going to be driven by one song, right? It's you should time your story to that time limit. Because that way, most songs, you can always find a song that's, over 3 minutes, but rarely can you find a song more than 4 minutes. I mean, you can, of course, but that's the time frame for most songs, which is, it's just,
In that case, well, in that case, it was the time. I think the time, the sun.
yeah,
It was determinated, ultimately determinate the 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 finish of the story at that point.
yeah,
I wanted to use the entire track with no changes, you know,
yeah,
not cuts in the music track, no addition in the music track. Even though sometimes I make this, but not that time. I wanted to use as is.
yeah.
And it
Well,
was so from this viewpoint, it was music driven.
yeah, no, definitely. And that's one of the things that I try to tell people when they get music for it. As a professional filmmaker, with music licensing, if you're going to go get a song from, someone, that they need to know what context it's going to be used for, because not
Yes.
only not only the content or what the film is about. I mean, obviously they may not want to be a part of your film for whatever reason, but
Uh-huh.
the other thing is it going to be in the background, or is it just going to be a transition that you're going to use it, or a little montage throughout the film, or is it going to be the driver of the film? Because half the sound, half the picture is the sound in a film, so they need to know these things, and you
Yes.
have to get the right licensing for it. But
Yes. Yes.
okay, so let's play this game, because I know it's really late over there where you are, um, and so let's do this. So you're gonna get 20 seconds to uh, basically name, shout out as many songs as you can within that time. as you can, and not just any songs. Obviously, I want you to, try and think about songs, even though I'm putting you on the spot, but songs that you actually like for, for some reason or another. One, two,
Okay.
three. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, get set and go.
Mirrors on Justin Timberlake. Okay, just reach out from the Christian band Petra. They are retired now. Okay, the music tracks, several music tracks of The Greatest Showman. I'm gonna make my list here. Alive, The Greatest Soul.
That's it. Wow. See, and you thought that maybe you weren't
I
going to
think that
have
I
enough
took my
songs.
time. I was I was too slow.
No, it's fine. And also, I'm sure you're tired. It's like 3 a.m. over there, right?
Yes.
Let's go ahead and, say goodbye to our listeners. As you heard from Claudinho Andres, who's in Chile, he came to our film festival last year. He made an awesome music video, and it was experimental, but the quality was exceptional. And I know that your film is on. Is it on Amazon?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're not gonna blow that and put your film, out for the public for free. So what we'll do is, I'm sure you have a trailer somewhere. So we'll share the
Yes.
link to the trailer so you can get a taste of it, and maybe you
Sure.
can,
Sure.
and you'll probably want to go to Amazon after that. So we'll give them the link to your Amazon, so they can do the on demand video on demand or whatever there, and watch the whole video.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, I'm gonna send you the link. But you remembered me about that because I was about to make public,
Yeah.
but it is in Amazon. You're right. You're right. It's in Amazon. So okay. Thank you, Susie. It was a pleasure
Yes.
to stay with you here talking about filmmaking, smartphone filmmaking, and I hope that maybe we are gonna see us again in San Diego if
Yeah, definitely.
everything.
Great. All
Okay,
right.
but
Thank you.
thank you,
Stick
thank
around.
you.
Stick around so we can do our next one.
Okay,
And yeah, and thank you everybody for listening. Stay in touch and definitely follow Claudinho on his social media links. We'll add that to the notes.
thank you guys for all
Bye.
your patience.
Bye bye.